3, 2, 1, and we're live, Paul.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to season 2, episode 3 of the Wrestlevlogs podcast session. This is your host, the four-time, hopefully 5 times so I could do that thing that Booker T does. Wrestlevlogs champion, the mark that gets marked, Julio. And today we're having a very special episode, but let my co-host introduce himself and I'll talk a little bit more about the episode. Chase, who the fuck are you?
Right on, man. And as always, I am your co-host, the dildo dude himself, former hardcore Wrestlevlogs champion. I am El Chazzo.
Damn, been that. And today we're doing a very it's getting serious. So we're doing a very special episode today. Today in the podcast we'll be having Need Remedy with us. Fortunately, thank God, he survived COVID, and he's here with us today to talk a little bit more about his experience, what he went through, what he did, and what he's doing today. And we had a good talk, and I advise everybody to listen to what Remedy has to say. And he has to say a lot of things that a lot of us should listen. A lot of people should listen. A lot of people think COVID is a hoax should listen, really pay attention to. Chase, ain't that right?
Shit, dude, that is totally right, man. I mean, it was a really like heavy. It's a really heavy episode. You know, like we're all about like fun and games here on Wrestlevlogs, but you know, for something like this is it's really heavy, like some really serious shit. This is why we kind of did without the segment this time, just we didn't feel like it was appropriate. You know, for such like a serious interview and serious subject matter. You know, we just might be a little bit different than what y'all are used to, but you know, nevertheless, it was still like a really amazing episode, really good podcast with, like I said, Wrestlevlogs alumni and our first repeat guest on the show, Remedy.
Yeah, and it's a like how we said, it's a great episode. He reached out to us, wanted to be in the show, talk about COVID. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, totally. And anybody else would like to reach out, just let us know. Here at Wrestlevlogs, of course, it's a platform for everybody to talk to. Well, let's have fun. If you don't want to talk to, just hit us up. We'll shoot an episode. We'll make fun of stuff. We'll shoot shit. We'll talk serious. And we're here. Wrestlevlogs are for everybody. And unlike other podcasts, we don't do our stuff to promote. Here, we just want to have a fun time. We're just having a fun time. Want to have make everybody happy. Want to make everybody in a good mood. Because always in life, you have to live in a good mood and not always be depressed. I mean, that's how I see it. But you just have to have motivation always, and know that there's people out there that love you and stuff. You know.
Right on, man. Nothing but fucking good vibes and love from Wrestlevlogs.
There, good vibes. That. But for right now, let's since we're talking about shows during COVID with Remedy, I think it'll be a good topic to talk about, Chase. A lot of shows were canceled. I don't know if you noticed that. Recently, Texas Wrestling League. Well, WrestleFest was initially canceled. I forgot the original date, but then it was August 27th, somewhere like that, and it got canceled. It was a show with it was gonna be Gino versus Carlito, Chavo Guerrero versus Cyrus. A lot of big matches were gonna go that day, but it was gonna be a convention. But then they moved it to Cena Ray the same date, and as well again, unfortunately, it got canceled. It's gonna be a good card. If I'm not mistaken, Puro Pinche Wrestling has moved back their show. I think the show is the 8th next week. They were recording this. Is the 8th next week? 8th of August.
Let me fact check that. Yeah, it was supposed to be next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. Next Saturday it was supposed to be August the 8th. I was about to say April. August the 8th was gonna be Puro Pinches Wrestling first show. They were gonna have their first show before COVID. Well, once COVID started happening, they unfortunately had to cancel. I think it was March 13th, the original show. But it was gonna be a good card, and as well this show coming up, they're gonna make it good as well. And then what other shows are canceled? I think they canceled the TV taping for SWE. What is it? That one?
I think they postponed it. I think, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
they postponed it. They as well had some TV tapings at San Antonio. They had a good card, a good matches and stuff. A lot of people are just canceling the shows due to COVID. Chase, what are your thoughts on that? I think it's a good move. I mean, as much as we miss wrestling, I think it's good to how do you call it? It's good to protect fans and athletes as well. Anybody in the staff, it's good to protect everybody. I don't think it's time yet. I know some shows are doing it. They're doing it, but I haven't heard anything of COVID coming out of shows. But what's your take on this?
I mean, I kind of see it the same way. Like, again, I miss going out. Period. You know, and going out hanging with buddies. Like, to do fuck all, and of course, going to like wrestling shows and like seeing people I haven't seen in a while, people and I know from Twitter and whatever. But at the same time, it's like I do understand like what's going on. You know what I mean? I do understand like it's not the time. And if anything, it just makes like it's making the for when wrestling does come back and live that first live show that does come back, it's just gonna make it all the more special. You know, not only like for the fans, but for the talent and for everyone else that's just been dying to come back.
Yeah, man, and of course I miss chops. I know a lot of people enjoyed Mark the Mark, especially at GCWA in Corpus Christi. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, of course I miss the shows. I just missed something, an outlet that will let me out. I think I did go to a couple of shows. I don't remember when it was the last time we were recording the Mox interview, which was what,
Mm-hmm.
June, right? June, July,
Yeah,
June, yeah,
around
June,
like mid-June, early June.
yeah, mid-June. There's still some lucha shows here. Here in the valley is just catastrophic. It's right now in the valley. It's just well, I just mentioned. I mentioned it in the Remedy interview, but I'll mention it here again. You're probably gonna hear this as well. But here in the valley, we're just struggling with COVID as well. It's one of the hot spots uh, uh, in the state now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I live in Cameron
Same with San
County.
Antonio.
Yeah, I live in Cameron County. I think it's about uh, 8,000 cases. I'm not sure. I barely watch the news, but it's about 8,000 cases. But next door, it's about like 15 or 12,000 cases. But next door, they're just having it bad. But especially now that the hurricane hit us, it's just worse. Now with COVID and what we had to deal with the hurricane is just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, guys. But about like a month before, went to a lucha show mission with this, which is a Dax Promotions. Probably heard it when we are talking with Lucha Blux, Princesa Celestial. Which, you can
You
go
mean the
check out that
Chazzo and
episode.
Principe show?
Yeah, the Chazzo and Principe show. But yeah, and as well with Dill Dempsey, the snake Dill Dempsey that we've been talking about Dax Promotions, and they had the shows, but I'm just gonna shoot on them. Fuck it. I'll shoot on them. I'm just gonna say straight up, they were horrible. They were. I'm gonna shoot on their asses. They were horrible on dealing with this situation. Some people didn't have. Well, at the time it wasn't. Well, still, I think it was still mandatory. Even the promoter, but
Mm-hmm.
face masks were mandatory in the show. Well, fuck, most of the fucking people there weren't wearing a fucking face mask, or they had their face mask or their bandanas right like below their mouths, you know.
Something.
And I'm like,
Hmm.
what the fuck? Like, you're not gonna tell these people shit. Like, I mean, there wasn't that much. Usually, I think the first time we went, it was like pre-COVID. It was fucking packed. You didn't know where to sit. It was how much people go, and it's in a flea market. So now that that time they came back, there wasn't a lot of people, but there's quite a few. They weren't even practice social distancing. They weren't like how I said, they didn't even wear the face mask right. I mean, like, come on, like, unfortunately here in the valley,
Common
we're
fucking
the
sense.
yeah, man. Unfortunately here in the valley, we're like the least educated people, and it shows. And yeah, I always said it, and it shows. People here don't give a shit. I know everywhere else nobody gives a shit, but if you know since if you're from the valley, you know how much our people don't really give a shit about their stuff.
Right.
And I mean, it just makes me mad, man. It just makes me mad because I can't have shit I
Yeah.
want back, you know. But
Because
uh,
it's funny because it's the opposite in San Antonio. You know, I mean, granted, like I mentioned, like we have like hundreds of maybe thousands of cases like a day. I'm probably exaggerating for thousands, but we do have more cases like each day, and like we are a hotspot. But at least people are, you know, at least I can say we're practicing social distancing, wearing a mask, and doing our part. But still, it's like we're not at the. I still sure as hell know slash believe like we're not at the point for the whole live wrestling yet. Just in general, like anywhere.
yeah, and think well, lately there hasn't been a live show here in the valley that I heard of, but I'm gonna shoot another promotion. Man, this promotion sucks. Shoot on them. Means know them as Legals, but I don't know their proper name. But man, their wrestling sucks, and they're fucking like uh the 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 way they're trying to handle this. I haven't been in their show since long. Last time was when we interviewed Cyrus on Wrestlevlogs. I think this was about January. Man, they want to start shows. I think like next week. I'm not, bro. Why the hell do you want to start shows?
Not the
Especially,
time.
especially if you're in Hidalgo County. They're based out of Hidalgo County. So I mentioned they have from 12 to 15,000 cases right now. Um, but man, common sense, man. Common sense. You should just grow your shelves, you know. And it's a great move. I want to shout on them by telling them, no, they took care of the scenario, but they had some big show coming up, but they made the wise, good decision to cancel that, and as well as other weekly shows they have at the flea market. But man,
Hmm.
I mean, it's just people here that don't give a shit in the
I don't know,
valley.
and unfortunately, that's just kind of the reality. That we kind of live in. Unfortunately, we do have those people that just don't give a shit, and like I mentioned, they're just like, oh, whatever. This ain't that bad. Meanwhile, it's like, yeah, dude, it kind of is that bad.
Yeah, that. But yeah, bottom line, I mean, if you're running a wrestling show and you're listening to us, I mean, I I honestly
Dude,
like
smart.
it bothers me. It bothers me. But if you would just want to do that, that's fine. But
Just
it like bothers me.
take precautions.
Yeah, but as long as you're taking precautions, you're doing everything fine. Um,
If you're
as long as
not,
nobody comes.
do it.
Uh,
And I said,
yeah,
if you're
if you're
not
not
taking
just
precautions, do it.
yeah. I'm glad. I know some wrestling shows are actually taking precautions and stuff,
Like,
telling people to wash their hands and stuff.
that's why I gotta give props to GCW. Like, I really respect the way they're doing it, where it's like they purposely put their show. I don't know if you saw it, but they purposely like had their show booked in a park the way they can have as many fans, social
Uh-huh.
distancing, but also like it's only like you have like face masks are required. If you didn't have one, they're gonna give you one. Sanitizer was everywhere, and you could only sit with people basically like what's what I'm looking for? Like basically immediate friends and family. You know, like
Yeah,
you couldn't sit next to like some random dude. You know, you could only sit either by yourself with your family or with like immediate friends. Which, like I said, I really gotta give props like the way they handled it or handling things.
yeah. I mean, I have no problem. Like sometimes bothers me because, like how I said, Dex just fucking bothered because it was just that bad. But what's it called? Yeah, shout out to GCW. They're doing some great stuff. They've been running some quite. They know how to deal with this pretty good, and I just hope more wrestling shows are like this, and hopefully more people just notice more about the situation, open their eyes, and see how COVID is. You know.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah, man. But I think there's quite a few shows going up, and let's just talk a little bit more. Should we talk about this? I was gonna talk about. Nah, I'll save it for our next guest. I was gonna talk about the Mission Pro show, but we'll
Oh
save it
yeah,
for our
we'll
next guest.
save it for special next guest coming up who will love to talk all about Mission Pro,
Or we're
which
gonna
is that.
have uh,
What's up? You're breaking up a little bit.
that. Oh, what were we gonna say? What were we saying?
I was saying, I was like, yeah, like we'll save Mission Pro for our next special guest who will love to talk about Mission Pro and give us all the little juicy little insight and details for Mission Pro. Won't name names, but we'll stay tuned for the next episode.
Uh, yeah, hopefully by that time, Mr. Pro runs their show. They just converted to all women's promotion, which is great. I think it's something great that they did this move and stress the importance of women's wrestling. I feel like women's wrestling isn't stressed enough. There's a lot of great talents out there, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the company is doing a great job on. Yeah, like how he said. I just hope wrestling shows just come back. We'll do
Hopefully, we can
great
start
hosts.
putting the vlog skis back up.
Yeah, man. We have a lot of things for the vlog coming up, and
But y'all got to stay tuned for that one.
yeah, and also a change on the championship. I'm gonna I'm gonna want to start doing something big, something serious. Now we're still gonna be playing games around and doing our little bullshit. I want to try something serious, and I really hope it works out. And we'll talk about it a little bit more once the time is appropriate for it.
Right on, man. So yeah, so I guess he's kind of want to segue into the interview.
Yeah. So I think that's a little rant, little shooting the shit.
Or the
What's up?
right on. So coming, all right, so guys, so coming up, our
Oh.
interview with after this little break ski, we have our interview with The Remedy. Hope y'all enjoy. See. All right, guys. So real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to a local wrestling shop here in San Antonio, named Just the Wrestling Shop, located at the Wonderland of Americas. Buy, sell, trade Mondays through Saturdays, 11:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Closed on Sundays. Hit them up for all your lovely wrestling figures need, as seen on the Major Wrestling Figures podcast. You know, it's good shit. And today on this episode, we have a Wrestlevlog Sessions alumni, The Remedy. Remedy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm an alumni. That's awesome.
Yeah, wrestle like
the
in
first
general,
ever repeat guest.
Oh, that's cool.
in general, Wrestlevlogs alumni. We had them
Mm-hmm.
at the last show we went to for Wrestlevlogs. When we were vlogging, it was the No Ring Deathmatch.
That was the last show.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we vlogged.
Oh,
Man.
I know, dude. Feels like fucking forever ago. Even though he's not too long ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Julio, you want to take it away?
Let me do it again. All right, so Remy, how you been since the last time we had you here on the podcast?
So GSO's no more, which everybody knows all that. Which I don't want to go into about that. That's always a touchy subject. I guess I'm off in my own again in this free, lonely world. I had COVID, which I think anybody who follows me on social media or on Facebook can tell. Like, COVID's no joke. I wrestled one show after I guess the first shutdown, and I guess I'm just working, living. I'm just doing hood rat stuff. So that's pretty much it.
Right on, man. Now, kind of since we're kind of like on the subject of you getting COVID, can you like kind of like tell us a little bit about your recovery and like how the whole like I guess experience going through it, you know, how you can give like a firsthand detail like what that was like and like how you kind of like reacted to that.
So okay, so man, so I was working a nightclub. That's what my former line of work was I was a bouncer. So I was working a club, and when I got off that night, I'm sitting in the truck, and I'm like, man, my throat is killing me. Usually, like, you're yelling to get people out of the club. So, like, when you kind of strain your throat. But this was different. This was like, oh man, did I do like damage to it? So I had a sore throat, and I think the next day I kind of had it, but the day after it's like, you know how you get one of those viruses that kind of lasts 24 hours, where it's like a little flu, where you have a fever and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I had that, but it wasn't going away. It stayed for a couple of days. And then I just kind of had the body aches. But then, like, at night, the flu would come back. And it just kind of tore me up. Well, I was told to go to the hospital on Sunday of that week. And I'm just like, it's okay. It's nothing. And when we went there, I was like, I think I had the flu. And the doctor's like, man, flu season's over because this is the beginning of June. I missed my nephew's wedding because I was sick. And they're like, man, flu season's over. Sounds like you got COVID. And they tested us. They put a swab in my nose, and that was uncomfortable. And then they were like, well, we're going to do a rapid test. And then they did it again, and it came back that we had COVID. And I was just like, I think I was like more blown away, like I had it. Um, and it was just like people were in the hospital, and they told me to go home. Well, then I started reading and researching, and come to find out, like, all right, it's only going to get worse from here. And brother, when I said that it got worse, it got worse. I couldn't speak because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. Um, I didn't sleep for almost 3 days because I was afraid if I
Oh,
fell asleep, I was going to die because I couldn't breathe. And I can tell you now, like, if you don't sleep, you hallucinate. And yeah, I always thought that was kind of like bullshit. I'm sorry for cussing. I don't know if I can cuss,
Oh
It's
no,
a,
dude.
but
it's
Dude, you're
a,
good.
yeah, you
uh,
You can cuss all you want, bro.
I,
could,
I thought it was like I thought it was BS, and no, like I was having hallucinations, and I made that Facebook video. I think I did a live where I was driving to the hospital, and I mentioned that I had it because I was afraid that I was going to die. So at least people know, like, hey, he went to the hospital. Hey, he had COVID. So no one's curious about how I died because I don't have family on my wrestling page and nobody knows my family. So it's just like, okay, well, now we know what happened. And man, I don't wish COVID on nobody. You couldn't breathe. I was afraid to lay down in certain spots for too long. The fevers hit, just being disoriented. I don't know. I probably had a lack of smell, but I had no appetite. Um, and it was like I saw a video that a YouTube channel called the Infographic Show did, and they talked about how the symptoms were, and that's how they hit me. And it's not all bad at once at the beginning, it gradually gets worse. And just being in the hospital and then hearing people code blue and seeing nurses come back and then finding out like people are dying right and left and you're constantly hearing it. It's, man, it's surreal. So,
yeah, man. Yeah. Um, and it's a shame that people don't take COVID. I had earlier this month, I had a, a scare, but I think my mom was sick. She only had pneumonia, but I think she's getting better from it. But either way, that's it had like some of the same symptoms as COVID. But how you mentioned everything that you've been going through during the time you had COVID, it was pretty much the same thing my mom was going through. But everybody has to be careful and how they say just wash your hands, wear a mask, social distancing. It just gotta be clean, you know. Always practice social distancing and other stuff, but it's a shame that people aren't.
And it's an even bigger shame that people are denying this whole shit, you know? I mean, like, because I work
so
in. Oh, sorry, you can go on, Remedy.
no. What are you about to say? I want to hear what you guys say. Sorry for
So,
cutting you off.
no, you're good, bro. So, it's the reason I say it's a really big shame and like that people deny it because like especially because I'm a healthcare worker, you know, so like I know how it is, and just hearing these people like, you know, not only like hearing your side, Remedy, someone who's actually have it, and being someone that's constantly like working with him, doing on the front lines, seeing firsthand whatever, and then like next thing you know, I just hear someone saying like either like, oh, like it's fake, it's whatever, I'm sure. Have y'all seen that thing on Twitter? It's this thing going around. It's called hashtag Film Your Local Hospital. Have y'all seen that?
No,
I
I
think so.
haven't.
So basically, like the gist of it is, how like basically like hospitals are pretty much like overflowing, pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's these people out there that are like, I guess, basically like denying the numbers, pretty much. So like what they're doing is they're going off filming, like going to these hospitals and filming their parking lots to show how empty they are, and it's like, well, you do realize you have to be dropped off at a hospital. You know what I mean? Not everyone like drives there on their own. Not everyone's capable of that. And of course, you have the whole, like, I'm sure y'all probably saw that one guy up in, I think, Amarillo or Abilene, making money off of it, calling it the scamdemic. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. This is real. This is serious. Especially like
Yeah,
hearing stories like firsthand from people who've had it. It's like, come on, man, take this thing seriously. Don't be a fucking pendejo about this shit.
So yeah, and right now in the valley, we pretty much just well, in my county, which is Cameron County, we have about, I'll say about 6,000, 8,000 cases. I can't remember, but in the county next door, Hidalgo County, I think there's about 13 or 12,000 cases, and it's tough. And I saw videos that someone went inside the hospital, filled how everything was, saw the aisles were full of patients or people dying. And then right now, since we had the hurricane about last week, since the hurricane hit us, it's been a little bit more difficult for a lot of people. There's been people with flooding, but people here, like how we've been, take this seriously and keep yourselves clean, practice social distancing, and all that good stuff.
Man, so my girl had it too, and she almost died from it. Both of us almost died from this. And I get mad. Like, so somebody put a post, I think right when I was getting over it, and they said that racism and COVID have one thing in common. People don't believe in it until it happens to them. And it just speaks volume because I have friends that they don't really understand how severe it is until they go through it or a family member goes through it. And I'm like, I know, like, yo, I'm your friend, but you weren't around me. Now I had like legit like the great ones and Pumpkin chucked up on me, dropped off groceries to me just to make sure that we were okay because I wasn't working, I was broke. And mind you, I'm with COVID and I'm like my son is there and I still have to try to take care of him. So it was everything that he could do on his own, like microwavable dinners, stuff like that, anything you could pop in a microwave. I had nobody to take him with me because one, I was afraid that he was carrying it also, so I didn't want to take him somewhere where he would get someone sick. And two, it's just like I can't be around him, and I can't be around him. I know he wants to be around me, and I got to stay away from him. And it's just like I'm seeing wrestlers talking about why do I have to wear a mask to make sure that you're okay. It's a common courtesy. They do it in Japan. They wear masks when they don't feel good. But I see people that wear masks and they won't even cover their mouth when they cough. They think that that mask is just going to cover it. And people are just idiots. People don't realize it's just a common courtesy. Be respectful.
Dude, don't even get me started on that. I got stories for days about that. Like I said, like again, like me, again being a healthcare worker, like you said, it's like I know the reason to wear a mask, and like I straight up had someone tell me, he's like, you know, those things don't work, right? And I was like, you do realize you're a fucking asshole and you're a fucking idiot, right? Like that's like kind of like what you mentioned, like with your son. Like I feel like it's another thing that like people again don't realize. It's like, yeah, not only you're sick, but it just doesn't affect you. You know, it affects those around you, especially like your immediate family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I try to take the different approach than what naturally comes to me when people are just like, it's not as bad as people seem. I'm like, there's hundreds of thousands of people that died from it. How about you tell those people that it isn't that bad and watch you not get punched in the face? And it's just like me, I want to hit somebody, but I don't want to waste that energy of just sheer ignorance with violence because it ain't worth it. And man, even after I was cleared with COVID, I still had a bad cough that if I cough too bad, I'm fucking lightheaded and I'm gonna hit the floor. And apparently I had something that was called COVID cloud, to where I could have a conversation, lose my train of thought, and forget what the hell I was talking about.
Oh no shit.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Holy
like,
shit.
bro, it got bad. So I didn't realize one day I was driving and I was thinking I thought I was driving home and I was going the wrong way. So I just had to put the GPS on everywhere I went to make sure I went to the right place and went home. Yeah,
wow.
Holy shit.
bro, there's so many things that they tell you, but then there are little things that they don't tell you that you have to find out on your own. And I'm like, does
Right.
this happen with that? There's been a lot of cases of it. And I'm
Right.
like, oh. And it's like I've lost a shit ton of weight. I've lost a shit ton. I saw myself from the death match, and then I see myself now, and I've probably dropped maybe 30 pounds.
Wow.
And it was just from being sick with COVID.
And
So
they had problems eating and what are the difficulties with COVID, and how long did you have it? How long were you fighting this monstrous disease?
how long do you say we were fighting it? For about 2.5 weeks? It was really that long? All right. So my better half is saying about 3 weeks, almost a month, because we got it the beginning of June, and I didn't go back to work until July. Yeah, I didn't go back to work until right after the 4th of July, because it's just the sickness, and then you have that 14 days, and but it was just even that it's just like, yeah, it was a little over a month.
Uh, that's good, and I'm glad that yourself and everybody from your family recovered from all of this, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing better. And your family back to work, up to your feet, and use this platform to tell everybody that COVID is real, that they need to wash your hands, put on their face masks, practice social distancing.
Man,
Common, use common sense. Like I was talking to guy with the guy who came in at work. He was saying, like, we're talking about it, and he was like, I can't believe like how many people like lack common sense. Like, like when I remember, like when the first shutdown, like I would say, like, what was it, like back in like March, something, April, something
Yeah,
like that. Like I
it
around
was
was,
March.
March.
yeah, it was somewhere around. Can't remember for sure, but like I remember vividly. I went to go do a capillary stick on this dude poking his finger, and he took his glove off, and I was off. I was like, "Hey man, you might want to throw that away. Like, that's kind of like I'll give you some new ones. Like I have plenty right now." And he goes, "No, it's okay." Turns it inside out and puts it back on, and then he goes and eats with that same glove. And I'm like, dude, that is
Uh,
disgusting. That is not the shit you want to do, man. Like, again, fucking common sense, man. Jesus.
And
I
and oh, sorry, go ahead, Remy.
no, what are you about to say?
Oh, and how you say in Japan, they use their face masks. No matter, they've been using it before this pandemic, and I was watching New Japan, and way before the pandemic, and they use face masks. Most of the people there in the stands, and because in Japan they always do it just to take care of each other. And look at, if we were more like Japan right now, we will probably having shows and stuff back to normal, like how Japan is. And they restarted their New Japan. New Japan started their shows, and also Japan is always clean on everything they do.
Man, here we have a bad sense of entitlement. We
Mm-hmm.
feel that we are entitled to everything and that everybody should respect our stuff, even though it's being inconsiderate to someone else. and their needs. And I can't think of the words right now, so I hope that's the best way. Inconvenience, yeah. Inconvenience everybody. It's just like a mask is a common courtesy. A mask is a safety net for like respect of somebody. It's funny because think about it this way, man. In years time, like years and years ago, centuries and centuries ago, people walked around without pants on. People will walk in piss freely, just walking. Well, you know what? One day somebody was like, you know what? I don't like piss on me. Let me get something to cover up my legs. You know what? Piss didn't get on them. Now let's put that on somebody else. So guess what? Now the piss is on that person and not transferring to everybody else. Horrible analogy, but that's the way the face masks are. If you're sick, you're stuck with it and you're not spreading it to somebody else. But if they're wearing a mask, their chances are better of not getting it either.
Right, and it's also kind of like goes back to like like during the Dark Ages with the whole like Black Plague thing. It's like I kind of think about it too. It's like the whole thing was because like shit was unsanitary. Like just
Yeah.
washing your hands goes a long way, and I'm sure like people back then were probably like oh I don't want to wash my hands like that's an inconvenience to me, but then it's like, well, look at it in the long run. Like look, if everyone just collectively wash their hands, then look, no fucking black plague anymore for them. So I
Yeah.
kind of see it the same way. It's like wear a fucking mask, do what needs to be done, and think about it in the long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just I just get upset if people try to like downplay this shit. They're like, "Oh, like this isn't as serious." So many people have died, and you know what's sad? It's people that we know. We all know someone that's died from this,
Right.
and it's just like, so you're saying that that person died from something that was fake, that that person's family is now missing a loved one because of a fake disease or a scam. And I'm like, man, fuck off. Because when I tell somebody, it's like, when people ask, how did you survive Corona? I was lucky. I was blessed. If there's nothing of my immune system, there was nothing that I took. I was legitly blessed that I survived it because there were times where I thought I was going to die. I'm over here praying and I'm like, please don't let me die by my son. Please, please don't let my son find me.
Right.
And it was just, that was my worst fear, was just dying by him. And it was the same thing about his mom. His mom sat in the hospital and they put ice bags on her, trying to break her fever down. And she would sit in the hospital and pray that she wasn't going to die there. Like she got pneumonia from COVID. And it's just like, man, I don't understand. Like I try not to think about other people's ignorance, but it floods. It infects
Mm-hmm.
your day. Hear people say the stupid shit like that.
Especially like because we have social media these days. You have like our like our news feeds are just constantly flooded with this shit. It's like
Yeah.
every day I see. Well, one I turn it at work. Two I see it. You know, uh, on my like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Constantly, it's like a news story. It's like watch this person freak out because they don't want to wear a mask. Or it's like what it's like listen read this article and what this person had to say about wearing a mask, and it's like again like you say, it's like it's hard like not to avoid the people's ignorance, you know
Yeah.
especially like it's like I don't want to. I'm tired of hearing it too, just as much as the next guy, but at the same time it's like one, this is the world we fucking live in. How can you not
Yeah.
avoid it? again, when we have social media and like you just can't escape people's ignorance like that shit, you know, like, and again, like me being on the front lines, it's like I hear about it every day. You know, it's like I don't want to experience that shit. You know, and I go off and like
Yeah.
I see someone like that, and I'm like, dude, come on. You know, you're not the you. There's the one thing that mainly gets me mad is just the mask thing. Period. You know, like I think about this video of this lady. I don't know if y'all seen it, where she's in the parking lot and she starts crying because she had to wear a mask at fucking Walmart for like 30, 45 minutes.
Man, I work in a factory where we do 12 and 13-hour shifts. I wear a mask 12 to 13 hours a day. Yes, it gets uncomfortable at times, but you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Exactly. And like, cause I wear, you know, not only do I wear a mask, you know, I have that plastic face shield, and yeah, like it, like you said, it's uncomfortable, and yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, it's like I know what this is for. Like, I'll tell you guys a perfect story. Um, Again, I don't want to say where I work, but I pretty much work with how do I cover it up? I work
Just bleep
basically.
it
I
out
work.
when you edit it.
Yeah, I'll just bleep it out. So I work in, and you know, so like it's not, it's just like this. How do how do I word it? I'll just fucking say it. We had this dude come in at one of these at one of our sites or whatever, and this dude, he just did not want to wear a mask. You know, he was like, "Well, I don't want to wear it for more than I have to," and it's like, "Well, neither do I, dude." But one, you're doing something that's gonna potentially save someone's life. Like the plasma in your blood could help someone with COVID, and you're over here bitching and whining just because you don't want to wear a damn mask for like 30 minutes, dude. Meanwhile, I'm wearing mine for like 10 plus hours in the fucking heat.
Yeah.
You know, so again, like I'm with you, Remedy. Like shit like that just gets me like heated. You know, lack of a better word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how you mentioned Remedy, I work at okay, I think Chazzo. Well, fuck it. I was gonna say Chazzo bleep it out, but nah. I feel you, man. I work at a warehouse, and in the warehouse there's no AC, no nothing. And if we're gonna go get some material from the back, it's just hot. But of course, we have to wear face mask and do all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, man, it's hot, but you know what? It's something that we gotta do to protect each other. I hear a lot of coworkers complain as well, but we all know, we all hate it, but it's there for a purpose. We do it for a purpose, just to protect us, our families. Uh, of course, everybody has families to work for, and well, good thing I don't hear a lot, but I hear some complaining. But a lot of people are cooperating with it, and I like the way how my workplace is handling it. We're doing questionnaires and stuff. There's always hand sanitizer areas, and so far nothing bad has happened. And it's pretty dangerous because we'll be getting stuff from Mexico and stuff. But uh, good thing that the workplace has been handling good.
Yeah. Man, it's like the place that I work at, they just hired a whole bunch of people because they did have a COVID outbreak there. And the factory just opened back up. A lot of people weren't going to come back to work. So they're like, everybody wear face masks, their hand sanitizer everywhere, there's social distancing, there's all of that. And you have to do all the guidelines, and they check your temperatures periodically throughout the day. So, and it's just like the minute you have a fever, they tell you to go home, to the point where the companies change their guidelines completely. Doesn't matter if it's your first day of work, if you have a fever, they tell you to go home and it's a paid day of work.
Wow.
Yeah, because they don't want anyone getting sick. And man, it's just, I've talked to some people and they're like, oh man, I can't wait till this is over. And I tell them, like, man, honestly, this might be the new norm. And people get so upset with that. And it's like, but it's true. Like, to just they do it all over in other countries. Why are we the last to adopt something like that? It's a common courtesy. It's respect. Even if it's
Mm-hmm.
not COVID, it could be the flu. Yeah, it could be something else. It's just like wear a face mask when you don't feel good.
Right.
So,
You know, especially like because there are a lot more like what's what I'm looking for, like respiratory illnesses and like stuff that's transmitted by droplets. You know,
yeah,
not only the flu, it's like you also got like tuberculosis, for example. Granted, it is like a little, it's different, but it works. It's the same concept. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like there's stuff you can do to prevent it. It's like that's just like you said, man. It might be the new norm, but fuck it if it is. Like so what? Like get change. Like sometimes change is good, and we just got to get used to it.
They used to say the same thing about seatbelts.
Mm-hmm. Or
Why
like
do I
the
have to?
other. Mhm. Sorry, you can go on. Mhm.
No, 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 no. That was my remark.
Well, see, like I was talking to another person about it, where I was like, it's like you mentioned seatbelts. Like the older generation may not believe in seatbelts, but like the future generation does. Because that's just the world we grew up in. Like for example, it's like kids now that are growing up in this like COVID world. They're gonna hopefully realize the importance and see it and just kind of like I won't say like not care, but like it just won't bother them because they're to them it's just like, oh, okay, this is the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I find it funny that, like, so when I got COVID, and I'm the type of person where I don't ask for anything. And I made a remark to somebody that, man, I might have to do a GoFundMe because I need to pay bills. Even though I'm not working, bill companies still want their money. And I'm like, man, I'm not working. And I was like, maybe I'll go do a GoFundMe. And he's like, do you have a PayPal? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, just put your PayPal up. He's like, I'll share it. And I think I fell asleep. I was sick. I fell asleep since I could breathe better. And I woke up. And when I woke up, I would see people write nice things about me. People like the post or messages of people checking on me. And then there are people that hit me up on PayPal. And I am kind of a person where if you do something nice for me, because I'm not used for people doing something nice for me, I'll always remember. And I took a screenshot of everyone who PayPal'd me money, anyone who messaged me, anything like that. And I will always remember everybody who did something for me because they did something out of their day, their money that they're already struggling with, and thought about me and my family. And the people that wrote nice things about me at times, like, I'm not even gonna lie, man, I suffer from depression. And sometimes I think that I don't matter and that I'm not important. And then seeing how I've affected people's lives, it makes me feel good that I've made some kind of inkling on somebody's life. And it's just like it it was nice to see how many people actually loved and cared that helped me. But also, like, I've made the comment too of people that I thought were my close friends that didn't even check on me one bit. I'll never forget. So,
Yeah, man,
like,
and oh, go ahead.
no, 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 no. What are you
Uh,
about to say?
yeah, I was gonna say it's always good to help out somebody, cause it's like saying like you never like let's say how do I explain this? Like I've never been in your shoes, but I probably understand a little bit like what's going on, and it's always good to help on a little something.
Mhm.
And I always believed in giving. I always thought of they always taught me to give. And that's type of respect. But it's always good that you had people giving you money that you needed for bills, for food, people checking up on you. And yeah, during COVID, you learn a lot of. I hear a lot of people that they learn who is there with them and stuff, the true colors, and COVID has opened a lot of us eyes and
Mm-hmm.
seen who really is there.
And it's just big. It's in this time, it's a learning experience. And I always make the joke with some people. And I'm like, during quarantine, when everything was shut down, was a perfect time to learn something. But also with this year, everybody needs to realize they need to contact people that they care for and let them know that they care for. Because you know when the next person, you don't know who's going to get this or you're going to get this. This is 2020 has taught me that tomorrow's not guaranteed. So you need to let people know that you love them today.
Right. And I mean, and like I'm with you too. And like the other thing is like, going back to the whole like giving thing, it's good because it's also like, well, you don't know, like that could be you next. Like you said, like, it could be you the next day, and I'm sure you'd want the same thing. So it's kind of like, it's like the old saying goes, like do unto others the way you want. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like give. It's like there's a saying where it's like, fuck, what does it go? How does it? I'm like lost for words right now. It's like
I was trying to say like the same situation, same thing,
it's
and I
like
couldn't find the words.
you give good and then you get good back. Like that's like the gist of it. You know what I mean? Like there's a
Yeah.
saying, I just can't think of it for the life of me right now. But it's like, again, you never know like who's gonna, like, when it's gonna, like you said, if today's gonna be your last day. It's like you said, like let those around you know, like, you care. Help out those in need, because you never know if you're gonna be in that situation next. You know.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
So
I'm just.
I don't know. Go
What are
ahead.
you about? No, no, no. You're good. What are you about to say?
Oh no, I was gonna jump into another topic, but you could continue.
No, man. We can talk about anything. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about you and me. Talk about
That's actually a really good segue for our next topic. This
Yeah,
is
literally.
this is the Wrestlevlog session. This is a wrestling show, after all.
But yeah, everybody here could talk about anything. Like how we're doing today, making awareness of COVID. And but let's talk a little more into the wrestling. I was gonna ask, how was that show you came back? If I'm not mistaken, the first show you did after the shutdown, or if I'm not mistaken, was it MPX?
yes, MPX.
And
Um,
how was that show? How did you feel coming into the arena? Did you feel comfortable? Was there anything that was bothering you were concerned about? Can tell us a little bit more about that day?
well, that day was a long drive because I was supposed to pick up people from Austin and go from Houston, Austin to Dallas, even though I should have just did Houston to Dallas because nobody rode with me from Austin. But that's besides the point. Um, so when I first pulled up to NPX, they made sure that everybody was far apart from each other. And I'm not even going to say 6 feet. They were probably 10 feet away from each other. Right when I walked in, they checked my temperature. I met everybody. It was very professional. It was very professional, but also very like kind of coming home for the first time. Some of these people you've seen all throughout like social media, but you've never really met them. So they know about you, you know about them. I'm coming into their house and they made me feel welcome. They made me feel safe, everything. When I got diagnosed with COVID, somebody made a comment. I was from that show that he wrestled at. And I'm like, I put that to rest. No, it's not. I know where I got it from. It wasn't from there.
Right now, oh, sorry, you can go on.
No. What are you about to say?
So, and that's like something I do want to like elaborate on is, so we all miss wrestling. We all miss going to shows. We all miss that. When do you kind of feel like is going to be like, what's like a good time for, shows to come back,
Well, I made the comment that wrestling should stop and it should start back up next year. But by the way that these spikes have been going, and then hearing that there's an increase right now in New Jersey in 2 counties, and that they're probably going to see their second spike, I feel like wrestling should come back when there's no cases.
Right. And
because,
sorry.
no, you go. I'm sorry. I have bad timing.
No, you're good. And I was gonna say, like, I kind of agree, like, because again, personally, like I said, we miss shows. Like, obviously, shows were fun. Like, everyone, we all miss, hanging out with one another, But like you said, at the same time, it's like, well, we have, especially like here in San Antonio, where I'm at, it's like I sure as hell feel like there shouldn't be any damn shows, because again, we're getting like cases like by the hundreds and thousands like each day, it seems like, but I'm with you, man. Like, we should definitely hold off on anything, period, not just wrestling, until, like you said, like there's like absolutely like no cases, like fucking New Zealand is doing, how they haven't like had cases in like months,
Man, I was very happy when I saw fans at a New Japan show because it was like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I had hope because it was just like, wow, it's some kind of normal. And like, but with the WWE, they had like 24 cases because they weren't practicing anything.
Right.
And it's just like baseball, they have cardboard cutout of fans in the seats, which I find funny, but I also find cool. I made a joke when I heard about that, and I'm like, bro, I would love to wrestle at a show where it only had like N64 rendered cutout people in the crowd.
That's awesome. I mean, that's good. And I mean, and that's a good idea too. Like that'd be awesome. But like also like going forward, like you said, it's like, it's kind of like seems like, we're kind of like, as of now, it seems like, we can't have fans in the audience. But like when wrestling does come back, do you see like what are like some of the changes that you think need to be in place? Like what kind of practices or like what changes do you feel like are gonna come back to live events? Period.
I feel like seating needs to be spaced out more because you have everybody pretty much shoulder to shoulder. I think seating needs to be spaced out more. I still think face masks need to be at play. Can you put this on? Hey, face masks still need to be at play. I would say checking temperatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
No.
I would say even like I know there was this idea that someone had that I forgot where I saw it, where there's like this company where like they're trying to like invent basically kind of like this. You know how like you see in like the movies or whatever, where like they're going to like a decontamination chamber, where like they spray them down or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw like there's this company where they're basically trying to make that where like before you enter a building, like on the like the entrances, they basically like have like this mist that basically like sanitizes you down. Which to me, like if that can happen, man, that'll be badass.
Yeah, but you also have to think about it like this. All you're doing is decontaminating topical diseases.
Right.
If somebody comes in with that, they're not decontaminized. Only their clothes. And when they cough or sneeze or sweat, it's coming out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
So
there's a lot that needs.
it's a great theory, but it's flawed to
Mhm.
a point. I don't know, man. With wrestling, I'm not interested in it right now. With my
Right.
health and stuff like that after COVID, I want to get my all right. I feel like all wrestlers are like scratching, like clawing, can't wait to get back. But I feel like when you get back into wrestling, you really need to hit it hard and you need to come back better than what you were before you left. And I don't think a lot of wrestlers are doing that right now.
What do you recommend wrestlers to do? And as well, promotions. I think right now the thing that promotions should be doing is investing as they can, and just think of different things, think outside the box to get everything prepared for everything after COVID.
Yeah, I feel like if you're trying to get back into this wrestling scene, there has to be training. There has to be because everybody has so much downtime on them that with wrestling and promotions, they have to work hand in hand and just knock it out of the park. Make people want to come to shows, but also make sure that their talent is at the top level that they need to be at that point. Because man, wrestling is, and this is going to get me so much heat, like so much shit. But I feel like wrestling before COVID, people were just kind of skating along. Like some shows were kind of the same, but I feel like a lot of companies were just kind of skating along with just the bare minimum. And they need to put out interesting new matches. They need to put out bring in different wrestlers. They need to make the roster hungry enough to where it gives great performances. But these wrestlers, you need to go out there and make sure that they're giving people their money's worth and not just playing along.
Right. And like kind of like on the contrary, it's like how do you feel like this is gonna affect like the new generation of wrestlers that want to potentially break into the business but can't really because of the whole situation going on?
Man, wrestling will always be here. Wrestling's not going to go anywhere. If you waited this long to get into wrestling, you can wait longer. It's right now, it's patience and time. It's a waiting game. But in this time that you're so much thinking about wrestling, work on your character development, work on promos, work on technique, do all those things because they will pay off in the long run. Watch matches, break down matches. Hell, wrestle Casper. Everybody knows about wrestling the Invisible Man. Work on everything. Work on every little aspect. So when you show your talent, people will be like, "Damn, I want to see him next time. People will remember you. And it's just, man, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people are doing it. I feel like I see one or two things when it comes to wrestlers on social media. Huh? Yeah. I see one or two wrestlers on social media. One that's chomping at the bit to get back in the ring. And then I see one that is depressed about wrestling not being around. And with those people, they need to realize and remember that wrestling is only a small aspect of you. So don't let it consume your life.
Right. Anything you want to add, Julio?
Yeah, like how you mentioned, there's something more else than wrestling. I'm not saying uh, uh, whatever I'm gonna say right now is not saying, oh, you should leave wrestling because of everything right now. Yeah, you can still love pro wrestling and all of that good stuff, but it's unfortunately, like everything else, wrestling isn't gonna be around like a long time, you know. Uh, Grateful that it is right now, but barely minimum. But the ones that are depressed, just they could work like I Remedy said, they could work on their promos, they could work on different things to make themselves better, their character better, their all that other good stuff, and also as well just find hobbies and other things just to keep them distracted, find new things to do, and because wrestling isn't right now. Wrestling is kind of scarce right now, but just the people are just depressed. Just for them to just find new ways, new hobbies, and things to just move on forward for the times, and of course keep their head up and hoping for more better times in the future once wrestling comes back.
So with wrestling being the way it is, and when I had COVID and I was just laying down, and I'm like, I'm gonna change stuff around, just with my personal life, but also with my wrestling life. And I was like, man, I'm just gonna put it out there in the universe and work hard for it. And I'm gonna try to get on AEW. I'm gonna try to get signed. I really want to try that, and I'm gonna work hard to try to pursue that goal.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah, and it comes with hard work and dedication and always staying focused to the point, even though there's a lot of obstacles on the way on different things. Like right now, like a lot of people's obstacles is COVID. But if you believe in a dream, you will overcome this time. And of course, during this time, it's just I think it's the perfect time for everybody to grow, physically, mentally, and also as well try new stuff. So here in Wrestlevlogs, we're trying to stay away from certain things, and try to bring some new things, as well just to make our product better. And that's what everybody else should use this time, make themselves better, and just realize the mistakes from the past or whatever, and just be a better person.
Yeah, that's like I think when wrestling starts back up, I'm not coming back immediately. I'm gonna take some time, and when I come back, it will be noticeable.
So just to wrap this up,
Yeah,
last question. Well, like I always say, we're glad you recovered from COVID. But this is the same question I asked you last time. Any advice? Went through COVID. I think this would be a good question too. But answer any advice you want to go out to the people out there during this time, and of course to the people that don't believe in COVID or think this.
man, for the people that don't believe in COVID, I'm not gonna say anything to disrespect you, but at this time, it's a time to be closer to your loved ones, respect the people around you. Um, because if you don't believe in it or not, people are dying right and left. And if it's one small thing of wearing a mask, just wear a mask. But show the people that you care, that you're around every day, that you love them and you respect them, and hit up that one friend you haven't talked to in a while, or say something nice to a coworker. But acts of love and kindness go a long way. And honestly, man, wearing a mask is an act of love, kindness, and respect.
Absolutely, man. Cheers, anything you want to add?
No, not really, man. Other than thank you, Remedy, for for coming on the show and bringing in some like the insight.
And thank you for having me. Oh, one other thing. I'm in the Nastico promo tournament right now. And if you vote for me, I'll make all your wildest dreams come true.
There we go. There we go, y'all. Y'all heard it here. And if Remedy, if we win, we'll be sure to have
Yeah.
a whole Wrestlevlog style podcast party. I don't know. We'll work out the details.
Yeah, and go vote for Remedy if you haven't.
I would say anything else you want to add, Julio, before we wrap it up?
No, that's pretty much it. I just want to thank Remedy to coming to the show and prove us the facts about COVID and bringing awareness to COVID. And this is the purpose of Wrestlevlogs, is helping any pro wrestler, anybody in the wrestling business. There's a platform for them.
Right on. And Remedy, where can we find you on social media and anything else you want to promote?
Anything they want to talk about.
I'm on Facebook at Wrestler Remedy, and I'm on Instagram at Need Remedy. And I hate social media, so I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is the toxic page.
Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not on talk to Twitter.
Yeah, man, it's
fuck. Like I said, fuck Twitter.
Cancel culture there.
Right on. All right, we'll let you go, Remedy. Take it easy, brother. Stay safe. You have a good one.
You guys take care.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, man.
All right, guys. So that was our really insightful, really amazing interview with the Remedy. We really hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all learned something. I mean, we sure as hell did. Julio, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, it's something that needed to be stressed out here in Wrestlevlogs and everywhere around the world, whoever's listening to us. It's something that we need to stress out. The fight of COVID, that it's real, that a lot of people are going through it and stuff, and just wash your hands, use a face mask, you fucking idiot, and practice social distancing. And as well, we were talking about wrestling shows. We were talking about it in the beginning, and also with Remedy. It's not time yet, but if you're doing it, do it safely. But for now, I don't think it's time to do any sorts of that stuff. But like I said, it was a pretty deep episode. Learned a lot from this episode, and I really hope this opens more people's eyes and see that COVID is real. And like how Remedy mentioned, call your loved ones, people that you know, tell them that you love them, do good deeds for them, because you never know when it'll be our last days here.
For sure, man. As always, guys, you can find me on Instagram. That is at El Chazzo, with 3 Z's, ELCHAZZZO, and on Twitter at El Chazzo. That's ELCHAZZO.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Julio VAS. That's Julio_Vasquez too. And you can also follow me on the toxic Twitter at Julio_VASKS. And we're gonna give out a couple episodes, and you can follow him. If you guys don't know, Moistella is the guy who usually edits our stuff, our podcast, our vlogs, anything related to Wrestlevlogs. He's a guy that has been all the time helping us out, but unfortunately, right now he hasn't been with us on the podcast. But give him a follow. Give him a follow on Instagram. It's at Moichzilla, Moichzilla, and Toxic Twitter. We man, y'all should check out his Twitter. Twitter, you can follow him at Merchzilla, MERCHZII, and of course, follow us here on Wrestlevlogs and all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Toxic Twitter, at Wrestlevlogs. Man, I hate Twitter so much. I keep using it. But yeah, follow there for any updates, any next guests, and anybody that wants to reach out to us in the show. Come on by and give us a message. Shit. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about life. Let's just have a good time and just enjoy the moment, I guess.
And as always, guys, as we mentioned, wash your fucking hands. God damn it. Can't stress that enough.
If you don't wash your hands, or do whatever the fuck to prevent coronavirus, I was going to say Ebola. To prevent coronavirus, what are we going to say? To fuck them up.
If you don't wash your fucking hands and do what the fuck you're gonna do to stop spreading the fucking COVID, we're gonna say Christian Mox, Príncipe Celestial, and the remedy to social distantly fuck you up.
Yes, sir. But serious note, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us during these rough times. We've kind of been inactive, but trying to do things day by day. But hopefully we can just start vlogging, start doing things. And like how I've been mentioning so far, we have a lot of great things coming up. For once we come back, back to vlogging, and as well, I want to show some things I want to do with the championship and some of the things we have so far. But thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for following us on social media. If you haven't subscribed, this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching our videos, subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I don't know, we'll send Principal to chop you or something. But thank you guys for the support, and stay tuned for the next episode. Next episode, we're gonna have a very special guest with us, and we're gonna talk pro wrestling and a little bit lighter subject. All right, guys, take it easy. Y lávense las pinches manos a la verga.
All right, later, guys. Stay safe out there. Take it easy.